Once upon a time, in a quaint little town nestled between rolling hills and whispering forests, there lived a cat named Whiskers. Whiskers was not an ordinary cat. He had a coat of midnight black fur that shimmered in the sunlight like velvet, and eyes the color of emeralds that glowed with an otherworldly intelligence. Whiskers was known throughout the town for his mysterious ways. He would disappear for days on end, only to return with stories that seemed too fantastical to be true. The townsfolk whispered that Whiskers had magic in his paws, that he could speak to the birds and understand the language of the trees. One crisp autumn morning, a young girl named Lily found herself lost in the woods just beyond the town's edge. She had wandered too far while chasing after a playful butterfly and now found herself surrounded by towering trees and unfamiliar paths. Tears welled up in Lily's eyes as she realized she didn't know the way back home. Just as despair began to settle in, a rustling sound came from the bushes nearby. Out stepped Whiskers, his eyes gleaming with a knowing glint. He approached Lily with gentle grace and nudged her hand with his soft muzzle. Lily, startled but somehow comforted by the presence of the mystical cat, reached out and stroked his sleek fur. With a flick of his tail, Whiskers led Lily through the maze of trees and winding paths, guiding her back to the familiar sights of her town. Along the way, he purred softly as if to reassure her that everything would be all right. Lily marveled at how the cat seemed to understand her fear and loneliness, and yet, without a single meow, he communicated more than words ever could. When they finally emerged from the woods, Lily turned to thank Whiskers, but he was already disappearing into the shadows, his form blending seamlessly with the dappled light filtering through the leaves. She blinked, half convinced it was all a dream, but when she looked down, there were faint traces of midnight black fur on her fingers. From that day on, Lily would often visit the edge of the woods, hoping to catch a glimpse of Whiskers, and though she never saw him again, she knew in her heart that he was watching over her. A silent guardian with a touch of magic in his paws, forever a part of the stories whispered in their little town.